News Jake here to take a look at this awesome blaster, and I do say that as a spoiler. It's been fun and awesome to use. Of course, this is the X-Shot Insanity Ragefire. It's X-Shot's first motorized blaster, as far as I can remember. I don't believe they've ever ventured into that. I've been reviewing X-Shot blasters actually going all the way back since 2017, so 6 years of using X-Shot, I personally have never seen them offer anything in the way of a motorized, which this is a really, really good first example, and hopefully they keep going with this, because this now is one of my top favorites as far as one of the flywheelers from the Big Four. Of course, Nerf, X-Shot, Dart Zone, and Busby. Now, along with this whole Insanity line, they also introduced a revamped Dart. Now, I still have neglected to do my video on the Busby new darts, but I'm also going to check these out, and I will, in time, get a detailed dart analysis video on both of them, and I will actually end up comparing them, because both companies have taken good steps without upping the cost of their blasters, but they've introduced a much more competitive dart at basically their own free will, which was awesome. Can we get Nerf to do that? Probably not. But along with this whole Insanity line, which I've got a couple more to review as well, but I ordered this off of Amazon for about $45. Now, considering what you get, and what you get is, of course, the Ragefire itself. You get a tripod to mount it on, which this is actually one of the better tripods that I've seen for a blaster, because this is in the compact form. It has the threaded locking mechanisms on each of the legs, where you thread it, and then you can extend it out to a couple of indented locations, and then tighten it back up. And basically, it's actually, when fully extended, it's tall enough for even an adult to stand behind it and comfortably fire it. So, kudos to them for a very good tripod, which the pin to hook this on to the blaster is actually very, very convenient as well. It turns about a third of a turn, so about 30 degrees or so, and unlocks, pulls out. You slap this in, and then put the pin back in place, turn it, and lock it. So again, great. It comes with, of course, a belt for the fact that it's belt fed, and it's a 40-round belt, and they give you 72 of these new darts, which, again, they're kind of taking a cue from Busby, but X-Shot's always been kind of the same mentality, a lot of bang for your buck. And they include in these two little adapters, the little square piece I'm holding, as well as these ammo holders. I didn't mount them, not going to. For this kind of blaster, it's not really practical anyways, unless you're going to do the whole, say, slide this on the top rail or on one of the side rails, and then mount and carry a backup single-shot blaster. Could if you wanted to. I don't see these as being practical, they're just kind of neat. Somebody might like the gimmick. But they're there if you want them, and they include 2 of these right here, and all of it for $45. That was the price I paid on Amazon. So, good value. Now, coming to terms with it, the blaster. Of course, this is a flywheel powered blaster, and it features a feed system very similar to the Adventure Force V-Twin, which was made by Dart Zone, of course. Where you can see here on the links, there's a center section that's molded out of it. You'd say kind of a cutout, and it has a spinning wheel that just simply flings and pushes the darts just like that. It can contact here in the center, and out they go. Flings it into the flywheels then fling it on out. And of course, you have a powered Gatling barrel. Neat. It's a gimmick, but it's still neat. And you have a basically Browning M2 50 cal type paddle for, it's a 2-stage trigger, as in you push in and then down. And of course, you hold simply up here and you push in and down and then fire. 140 shots. So, a lot of capacity, and as you could hear it hitting the back of my dart catcher, and I unfortunately put a box there, so some of them are coming back out at me, but you can hear it's got some punch to it. And I was actually averaging 93.3 feet per second out of this example here. I thought, well, that seems a little high. But then I checked one of the couple of people who I don't look at reviews until mine's published, but I've already done all my testing. So I went and checked. I was like, is this thing really that good? Well, I seen Buff Daddy Nerf. He said his example was getting in the low 90s. So that just confirmed. I was getting 93.3 as an average. And that definitely really reminded me I need to get a better chronograph, because as you can see, that is a large opening for the barrel. You don't want to know how many shots I had to put through the chronograph to get that average. That was a lot. And as much as I love belts, the one drawback to them is, of course, it takes a while to catch everything and reload a belt. But otherwise, this is a really, really fun blaster. One of the best that X-Shot's ever made. So, is there any drawback? Well, if you are somebody who only likes your typical, say, rifle style with a magazine feed, this isn't going to be for you. If you like small, lightweight pistols, it's not going to be for you either. But unless you're dead set on that, everybody who's a blaster enthusiast should have one of these. I mean, everybody. If you are a blaster enthusiast, I don't know how you can excuse yourself from buying and trying one of these. Because this is right up there as far as currently made flywheelers for me out of the big four. It's this and Busby's Alpha Auto 72. Because those are my two favorites right now. You take those two, and I know, I'm the Busby guy, so that's high praise. I put this right up there with it. I like high capacity. I pretty much like high capacity non-magazine fed flywheelers, so this is right up my alley, right along with the Alpha Auto 72. And it's like 1A and 1B. I love both of those, and this one is awesome. And X-Shot, please don't let us down. We have to have belts. A lot of belts. Because we need a 1,000-round belt. This would be awesome to have as a game mode, where like a couple of these are set up turreted, and you have to somehow, breach that defense. And that would be pretty awesome, like a point defense mode. And having a couple of these with huge belts. It would be awesome. Like, you have to capture the point, and then you have those to hold it for a certain amount of time. That'd be pretty awesome, because especially if you're doing stock Nerf Wars, this thing is going to reign supreme in a stock Nerf War type event. Because then, this is firing at over 90 FPS with about 4 to 5, as far as my best estimation, about 4 or 5 darts per minute. That's pretty good sustained fire, especially if you can get more belts and have a few hundred shots uninterrupted. And I never did have a jam or anything with this. So, no jams. Easy to work with. I love the dual stage trigger. That's, again, right up my alley. I love the Busby dual stage trigger. X-Shot, for their very first flywheeler, went with the dual stage. This, to me, is as good as it gets for a stock flywheeler. This, along with Busby's Alpha Auto 72. Those are the two best off-the-shelf from the big four. I'm not talking about the professional offerings. I'm not talking about the aftermarket 3D printed options. From the big four, this has got to be one of the very best. I mean, and it's fun. That's the key thing. It's fun. So at $45, you get 72 of the new darts, which are improved. You get the blaster, the belt, the tripod, which is actually a very good tripod. And the only real downfall is that, like all X-Shot offerings, it feels a little light. Especially after I just reviewed that MG3 replica, and I loved it, even though that was expensive. The build quality, you can feel the difference. That thing weighs about twice as much as this does. And this has 6 AA's over here in the left-hand side. And this still doesn't weigh. It weighs about half as much as that MG3. But The difference is, of course, this fires full lengths. That only fires half lengths. So, big difference. And this actually has the higher performance of the two. So, and again, $45 compared to like $80 for that. And that was the last true machine gun style blaster that I really loved. And this, for all intents and purposes, performance-wise, objectively beats it at about half the cost. That's all that needs to be said. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. And until next time, Small Goose Jake saying, have fun blasting.